guys, welcome back to Transplants. I'm Amy and I'm gardening out here in eastern North Carolina. It is coastal living all the way. I'm going to film a little bit different garden tour. When I started this YouTube channel, I thought that Kim and I would primarily do the garden tours, but there's so much more that goes into it. And yes, the gardens change so much just in 1 month that we had decided to do a garden tour each month. But I want to address the fact that so many of us don't actually know anything about where our food comes from. And I've got this, I mean, you can see how big this is, and it's already flowered. And on some of it, the flowers are really just dead at this point. And I need to get this dug up. So I figured I would start my garden tour with Bella sneaking up on us. Hi, Bella. And we are going to pull up this turmeric. And I got some of the salvia with that, so I will have to separate that out. Honestly, I planted this 2 years ago and I didn't think salvia was still in this garden until this summer. But let me just show you. This smells really good. You want to smell it? This is my turmeric, guys. And as you can see here, what I'll do is I will rinse this off. I will cut it off here and here and here. I will cut all this off. And then I will have, like you've seen it, ginger probably in the grocery stores. That is kind of what it looks like. But I will hose this off and I will actually just lay it out here on the picnic table for a while to dry out, and then these extra roots will just break off. Now some of this I will continue to clean up and dry out. Then you can grind it down to a powder and have turmeric powder, which is very good to add. Turmeric can also be used to dye clothing, so it's got a very strong color to it. So if you do season your food with the turmeric, it's probably going to turn it all orange, which can be weird. But it's a very good anti-inflammatory. So for that reason, if I get a chance to add it to my meatloaf, my chili, taco meat, different things like that, I go ahead and the flavor of it is not overpowering, but the benefits of it are very good. So I do try to add turmeric to our diet as much as possible. So for now, I'm just going to lay this down so I can get in here and pull the rest of this up. There we go. Now I do have a potato like scooper fork thing, kind of like a hoe or a pick. I should have brought that with me actually to do this. Now, some of this I will dry out. Let me show you here. Some of this I will dry out and I will keep it in a cardboard box with some sawdust so that I have more of this to plant for next year. But probably if I was going to do that, I would take this part here and maybe this part here and save. And I would dry this one out to grind down to the powder. Now while we're at it, I will go ahead and show you that this is the garden behind the home house. And as you see, a lot of it has been pulled. I had a bunch of cherry tomato plants there, and we're basically down to a few pepper plants. I do have a straggling tomato plant there. And at the front, If you remember, I did plant some spinach there that I didn't know if it was going to work out. It seems to be coming along. And some cabbage, but you can see the bugs have already found my cabbage and it's not even a head of cabbage. That I'm not too concerned about. Cabbage is super cheap and I was basically growing that for my chickens. They love cabbage. I will tell you that over here behind the willow tree we do have this herb garden. If you remember back in the beginnings of the garden tours, this was little baby plants everywhere. So I am happy with the way things are filling out in this garden. And that's going to be super exciting to see by next spring. Now, if we go over here, guys, behind the owl, we have what I've always referred to as the pepper garden. And I came in and pulled a lot of the zinnias out. That's why you see that they're just the dead zinnias. Basically, my green beans are really starting to wane now, but they're so intertwined in a moonflower that I do love that I'm going to leave those alone. I know it looks pretty horrible, but honestly on this garden, I'm going to remove the owl here, and I'm going to bring this garden out even so the width of this garden is even with the psychotic corn garden that's next to it. I'm going to fence all of this in, put a gate on one side, and plant fruit trees all the way around it on the outside in that Asprale fashion that we learned from the Tryon Palace. But I am still getting a lot of peppers out of here, believe it or not. And as you can see, Second Garden does have some tomatoes. And I do have more flowers coming on the tomato plants. So Second Garden is working out. But other than that, I'm pretty much just picking peppers. Now, the psychotic corn garden. You guys know that I had very uneven and quite unsuccessful corn in this field right here, this patch right here. And I do have some weeds. I've got weeds everywhere, guys. Been kind of slacking lately. But I planted more okra. Just to put something in here, basically. I did use toilet paper as seed tape for my carrots. And if you can see there, it should be a whole line of carrots through here, but not everybody took apparently. So I do have some carrots coming up, but not compared to the amount of seeds that I planted. That is very disappointing also. But I wanted to talk about this here. This is a pot full of peanuts, guys. This is where you get peanuts. They actually come from the ground. This is a couple of peanut plants here. And a lot of people don't even understand a peanut is actually a legume, which makes it a bean. A lot of people think peanuts come from a bush or perhaps a tree. And I think that confusion comes from, actually, there's nut in the name. It's a peanut. So we assume it must come off of a tree, kind of like a pecan or walnut or almond, something like that. But in fact, a peanut comes from this type of plant, and I'll actually have to dig up the peanuts, kind of like you would a beet or the garlic and onions, like a root vegetable, carrot. So I wanted to get you guys more familiar with actually where does all the food come from. Because I think that it's very disappointing that people don't even actually know anything about what they're eating. And food is our life source, guys. It's what keeps us alive, literally. So I just want us to be more informed. And then once we figure out where it comes from, we can decide then if it's from a good form or a bad form or how it was processed from there. Because a lot of the things on the grocery store shelves these days are getting pretty scary, pretty unhealthy. So there it is, guys, peanuts. That's what the little flowers look like. As you can see, I've got tomatoes. That tomato in the pot, and then I've got tomato plants inside there. I have not seen them produce any tomatoes yet, but I do see some yellow flowers on them. And if we come inside here, some of my pepper plants are kind of laying over because between, I think this is where that mole came up into from the garden next to it over there. And that and the rain just kind of shoved a lot of them over. I think I've only got one leaning now, but I am still picking a lot of peppers out of here. I've got another set of cucumbers coming up in the corner up against the fence, if you can see that. And so we will be making poppers, jalapeno poppers. And I bag those up in the food saver and freeze them. Here we've got another turmeric that I need to pull. As you can see, its flower is a bit newer. This to me seems like a tropical plant. But okra is still a thing here, guys. And once these finally wane, I will have that new set of okra coming up in the Psychotic Corn Garden. So again, these are basically all peppers. We're going to make jalapeno poppers, we're going to do stuffed peppers, hot sauces, pepper relish, and I make my own jerk seasoning with a bunch of these peppers also. So in the meantime, what I've been doing is collecting my peppers in a Ziploc freezer bag and putting them in the freezer. And then once I have the time and once I have the amount accumulated enough, that's when I'll start making my Jamaican jerk seasoning and my hot sauces and everything like that. Now, if we keep going out to the back garden, let's go ahead and stop right here and let these girls out. I still have Laverne and Shirley in the little chicken tractor that I hate. They are getting just about big enough to go in with the big girls. They're just not quite there yet, and sometimes the big girls get along with them and sometimes not so much. So what I've been doing is just letting them out together and seeing how that works. Hey girls! Alright, chicken party! Now here I'm going to stop just for a second and show you this pot. So you can see the differences in the leaves of this broad leaf is a turmeric. And this spiked, also kind of a tropical, if you ask me, a tropical looking leaf. This is just plain ginger. This is turmeric and this is ginger. So you can see the difference in the leaves there. You would treat the ginger just like the turmeric, as far as pulling it up, drying it out, grating it and using it fresh, or drying it out and turning it into a powder. Now here is the back garden. Guys, this is starting to look really rough, but I am getting a lot of peppers out of here. I am getting a lot of okra out of here. And that okra, I don't know if the camera's picking that up. It is, I would say, at least 10 feet tall up there, guys. That started as 2 okra plants. And then down here, it's like starting over. So the okra is super crazy this year. Now I have already come and picked through the garden. I see I missed a few things. And here we have some more turmeric that I will be pulling. But all in all, I cannot complain about the garden season whatsoever. And pretty much it is time for me to think about planting seeds. I want to do some more cabbage seeds and peas. Peas would work. You know, the cooler temperature crops. Honestly, between the mold going through 2 of my gardens, and now I know I'm going to pull up and totally rearrange the pepper garden, might kind of hold off on that. Lorenzo, what are you doing in there? Come on. Come on. Don't be threatening them little girls. They're gonna live with you. See what I mean? We gotta kind of keep the peace. But I don't know another way to integrate them other than give them a little time. So this is what we're doing, guys. Despite it being the end of September, this is still a good harvest for one day. I'm still picking the garden about once a day. And so that's pretty amazing. I bring everything in here in my basket and then I divide it out. These are going to be poppers. These are going to be pepper relish or cowboy candy. And then we have a bunch like this we're going to stuff. And then I'm going to put them in the food saver, suck all the air out of it, and put them in the freezer. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed learning about the turmeric and where your peanuts actually come from. They do not come from a tree. And I just appreciate you coming by. Maybe we can learn more about our food and where it comes from, what's supposed to be in it and what's not supposed to be in it. So we eat healthier, we become healthier, we live healthier, and that's what we're all striving to do here, right? Anyways, I hope you do enjoy the September garden tour, and thank you for watching. Until the next video, take care.